Welcome, Float Magic fans, for tuning in today. We're here on the podcast with my wellness facilitator, Jayleen. She's been with us for about 7 months, going on 8 months. So, which is awesome. We've loved
It's flown by.
Hasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That's why I was like, you just got here, right?
Yeah.
No, but it's been such a wonderful addition to our team having you with us. And you're so great with our clients, and thought it would be a great opportunity to let them get to know you just a little bit more. So thank you for being willing to come on.
I love working here. It's wonderful.
So tell us kind of how you came about Float Magic and what brought you into this space.
Yeah, so I tried Float Magic out a while back, I think when you first opened around that time. And I think I just did a flow and I really loved it. It was great. And so before I worked here, I started a little business, a house and pet sitting business, and it's called A Perfect Sitting if you want to find me on Facebook.
And she does a wonderful job. She loves those animals and so respectful of your house. So started that and it was going really good, but I just needed something more and wanted something more. And so I just put it out there that I wanted to find something that would fit me perfectly. I love helping other people, and it's just a passion that I have, making other people feel good and helping people feel better and strive. And, so I was just putting it out there, and I knew that I would find something because I had that intention. And I saw an ad that was like swimming lessons, and I'm like, okay, maybe that's it. And so I did swimming lessons for little kids, and I'm like, okay, I'm helping them, swim. This is so great. It's so great. But I just felt like there was something missing. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of stressed out. Like, I feel like there's still something missing. I think I need to go to Float Magic and relieve some stress, and maybe that'll help, I know that I will find that. And then I'm like, Float Magic, that's interesting. Okay. And I called and asked if you were hiring, and I think the girl said that that she wasn't sure, but to bring in an application. And I did, and I got an interview, and it's been the best thing that could have happened to me in my life. It has changed my life. It's made me a better person. And I just love working here so That's
much.
wonderful. I love that. Well, and we got to know each other before you ever even came on to Float Magic. We got to spend some time on a river together.
That was so much fun.
It was so much fun.
Yes.
Yep. Where we did lots of manifesting and lots of, tuning in. And so
that was amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was a really amazing time. So, it's super fun to have you as part of the team now, and watch the way that you interact with those clients, and everybody
just fills my soul.
Yeah,
I love it.
And that's just the beautiful part. Everybody's personal stories in their own life. You guys really are able to show up for people coming into the space.
Yeah, it's really amazing to see individuals walk in and they just seem like they're struggling, or they're in a bad mood, or they just don't feel good, or they're not sure about what they just stepped into, whether their wife brought their husband or whatever.
Right.
And to see that transformation from that to when they come out of a service, they're glowing, they're vulnerable, they're happy, and that is just... they're cream of the crop.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's such a great feeling to say. We call it sometimes a post-float glow, but all our services have this
all
post glow or post high, just this euphoria that a lot of people will feel just making time for themselves.
Yeah, it's so
essentially.
important.
Yeah, so wonderful. So what's your favorite service here?
I would have to say I really like adrenaline. So the fire and ice, I was really nervous to do it because of the cold water, but I am addicted. It's like a good addiction. It's going from the hot sauna to the cold plunge, back to the hot sauna. my focus is super crystal clear, clarity, and just feeling of euphoria and dopamine rush. And it just feels so, so, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it obviously floats. Like if I'm struggling with a problem, or if I have something I'm trying to figure out, or I'm trying to be creative, I'll float, and then I feel like I will get a flood of answers or good ideas. So
Yeah, like allowing for that nothingness so your brain can actually work without you guiding it to work or guiding it to what you want it to come up with. It really just has its chance to just be. So, yeah. Well, so I know that there's a lot of things you're working toward in your life right now. And you want to talk a little bit about how Floats inspired that and kind of where you're at with future goals and...
So like with what I'm working on right now and everything.
Yeah.
So, I am doing a lot of work with the law of attraction and manifesting. And I've always kind of known about it, but didn't really know how to apply it. Didn't think that it was for everyone type of thing, which it is completely for everyone. Everyone can do it. And I've attracted and manifested so many things in my life. I mean, everyone is manifesting at all times, whether you think you are or you're not.
Right.
Even a lot of the bad things that you bring into your life. And that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. But once you realize that, you can change your life completely. I've just been reading books and practicing it. And there's so many stories I could tell, some that are appropriate and some that are very personal and just like amazing, undescribable. But yeah, I just am telling my friends about it. I'm sending people books. I buy books, I read them, and then I'm sending them off.
That's the best thing to do with your books after you read them is give them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And my mom, she knows about manifestation. And so it's really a blessing to be able to talk to her about it and share my excitement with her, you know?
Yeah.
Because I do look up to her. And so it's nice that she's like, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
So that's good.
Well, and that's manifestation was a big part of how this center even came to be. Because one of the big aspects that I've since learned about manifestation, because I was kind of the same. I didn't really live life with intention. And I think that's the big piece of manifestation is like you can just go through the motions, or you can be dealing with aspects of life that's like coming at you, you know, and reacting, right? Or you can really put intention in place and direct what you want to have come about from that. And that really came into play when I was building Float Magic, because there was something in me that just knew it had to exist. There was no question. There was doubts in how it was going to happen, but there was no doubt it was going to happen, if that makes sense. And so the practice of just picturing it and knowing of it, knowing it's going to exist, and seeing it, like seeing it in my mind's eye was so powerful to actually create it.
Yeah, belief creates the actual fact.
Yes,
it's a quote.
Awesome.
I don't remember from who. I'm sorry, but
I'm that way too. Like quotes will pop up, and I'm like, don't remember the author. So sorry. Let me research that. But it is a powerful practice, and whether you're practicing it in small ways,
which is the best way to start,
because it's almost like you get to practice it over and over and over and go, okay, let me try this. Okay, let's see if this is going to take hold, right? And I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in just, like I said, the hamster wheel of just moving through life that you don't get a chance to stop and go, what do I want out of this? What's my end goal? Of this action?
Exactly. And it's so important one of the biggest things to all of this is what the thing that can stunt your growth in this is your thoughts. So having bad thoughts, I'm not worthy, we all know that we all do that.
Mm-hmm.
So just practicing having good thoughts and gratitude, writing everything that you're grateful for, that you appreciate. It could be something super small to something big, just everything that you can think of. And the moment you wake up in the morning, think of how you want your day to go, and be joyous and grateful for waking up and being able to create your day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's super important to just be thankful and grateful throughout your entire day. And also remember to remember. So like stopping multiple times a day and saying, what am I thinking right now? Is this thought serving me? No, I'm not feeling very good, and that thought was not very positive, and then change it, so.
Yeah. I have a friend who would literally, when she found herself in a bad thought pattern, she'd verbalize stop.
Yeah.
Because it would force her to like identify that she was in a bad thought pattern that she didn't want to continue, because when you practice the law of attraction, when you start learning about it, you realize good and bad. Like if you're in a negative thought pattern, you're going to attract more of it.
You're going to attract more of it.
When you're in a positive, that's why starting the day with gratitude is so valuable, because gratitude is such a high vibration.
It's very high.
And you can really, even in the tough things, right? Like even, I've spoke about this in the past. I went through a divorce the past 2.5 years, and it was really, really difficult. And but the days that I could just be grateful for what I'd gone through, what my marriage had brought to me, what both my marriages had brought to me, I'm just what my lessons were in the whole process. My day was automatically better.
Yeah. And it's interesting because like, I think we've all been there when you wake up and the first thing you do is stub your toe, and then you are going out the door and you spill coffee on you, or your jacket gets caught on the knob, and then your whole day is like da 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 da.
Yeah.
And if that happens, it's good to spot it and say, okay, great things are going to happen to me for the rest of the day, and I know it. And they will.
Yeah.
And they will.
Stop moving in the way of, you got all the bad out of the way, right?
Yeah.
So
like stop letting life happen to you and live.
Yes.
And,
let life happen through you. They say that there's levels of that we go through with lots of authors that I've read, and Eckhart Tolle will talk about it. Peter Sage talks about it, like that, how the universe works. I think there's so much of it that's still such a mystery to us, right? Like you
never stop learning about it.
Yeah, and our own mind is like, our own bodies are still being navigated and trying to understand our Earth. There's so much we haven't discovered on Earth. So to get to the universe is like this whole other, huge nothingness and everything.
We can't even comprehend it.
We can't even put words to it. And so it's, but when you think of that, when things happen to you, there's levels of our process. We'll think, well, things are happening to me. Then you're like, oh wait, no, things are happening for me. Like all these things that are happening to me are bringing me a certain amount of lessons and opportunities, or pivots. Like maybe because this isn't working out, it's not what I should do. Yeah. Maybe it's a pivot.
The universe is always looking out for you, but it's also always going to give you what you're thinking.
Yep.
Period. It doesn't care whether it's bad or good. If you're thinking it, it'll bring more to you.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's also looking out for you. And you may think, oh man, I didn't get to do that. Oh, now I have to do this. But then you find that the other thing was what you were supposed to be doing the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that gratitude piece really plays into that acceptance of it, right? Like going, okay, this is how it's supposed to, I lost my job. what does that mean? I just was helping a friend through that process, and she was anticipating that might happen. And I'm like, well, if it does, that it was meant to be. Like, there's something else out there for you. Exactly. Even though it feels like this is all there is, there's something else waiting. And that last phase of that process that these authors and people talk about, and the way of energy and the way the universe works, is that it happens through us. And I think that's where manifestation really steps into its power. Is knowing that we have the ability to manifest what we want.
Yeah, and just going over real quick, because some people may be asking, like, well, how, from what I've read and what I've practiced and what's worked is you ask, believe, and receive. So you ask for what you want. Like, I really want, for my own personal example, I really want $2,000, and then you say, okay, or you write it or you say it, with this $2,000, I can put it in my savings, I can pay this off. And in my experience, I wrote a check, and I told you about the story. I wrote a check.
She showed me the check. Yes.
I got it off of the website, The Secret. And it's a check that you can print off, and I wrote $2,000 on it, and I would look at it. So then the second part is believing, and like, I know that I'm going to receive this. And at first it was $5,000. And then I was like, I had those doubts, and I was like, oh, okay, let me do something that's more believable for me. So I did the 2,000, and I believed it. I'm like, I know I'm going to receive this, and gratitude, and appreciation for it. And then receiving, and I was gifted that $2,000 in that same week. And it is mind-boggling.
Just out of the blue.
Out of the blue.
Yeah,
it's
had no idea it was coming.
To think about that. So now I did write a check for $5,000. So
putting that one into practice.
Yeah, I'm like, now I feel better about that one.
Right.
But yeah, so it's just amazing, believing and gratitude, and also giving money to people and to charities, and without wanting anything in return is really important as well. Because that brings more to you if you're genuine with it,
And that's the practice of abundance, right?
Yes.
Like there's enough. There's enough to go around. There's like, I was watching a video of these two men who they were out in the jungle in their forest floor, right? And they start digging into the forest floor, and everything they need is all around them. Even the tools they made were from rocks and sticks, and they were just utilizing everything they had around them as they were digging. They were digging down in, and they made a little hut that they could walk into, and then they continued, and they made a little pool where they could swim into, and then they took bamboo, and I
feel like I've seen something like
right?
that.
Like, I'm sure it's been on the I've seen it more than once, but the whole, every time I watch it has a different meaning to me because of where I'm at in my life, right? But then they piped the bamboo back to the water source so they could get. Amazing. And I just thought, they just had everything they needed
right there.
They didn't go buy it. They didn't go, trade for it.
Yeah.
They had access to everything, and they worked for it, and they manifested it. Yeah. They wanted to build this beautiful area for them to relax and play in, and made me go, why don't I just sell everything and go live in the jungle?
I tried that.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yeah. How was that experience?
It was good, but I'm glad to be home.
Yeah.
I think it's really important for people to experience outside of their hometown. Right out of high school, I moved to Arizona. It didn't last long, but that's okay. I realized that, whoa, there's so much more than just my little hometown and how people live and this and that. I'm glad that I did it, but I love Twin Falls. I'm so glad.
You're grateful for
I'm
it,
so
right?
grateful I came back because I'm here talking with you.
Yeah. That's when I was young too. I went to France. I studied in France when I was just a sophomore in college. Same experience. Like it was going to another place and seeing a totally different way of life and a totally different approach to things. Like they would be closed from 12 to 2 because they went home and took a nap. And I was like, wow, that's not the American way.
No. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And they just really like their attitude on life and things was completely different. Like they had markets that they'd go to daily because their fridges were small. We grocery shop every 2 weeks, fill our fridge and freezer. And that's not how they would do it. They would go to the fresh markets and they would, and it was just a whole different view on what life is and could be. Yeah. And it made me realize how insignificant. I mean, not just insignificant, but how different, how much alike we are, yet how different we all are. Like it really put my life into perspective of that the way I do things isn't everywhere.
Yeah.
And it allowed me to be so much grateful for where I live.
Exactly.
And what I do and have that joy of being in this space and knowing I'm lucky to be here in Twin Falls, Idaho.
Yes, I agree with
in the
that.
Magic Valley. Among all the people in this valley.
It's a great town.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And the way that this area has supported us has also been an extreme sense of gratitude. So
and it just keeps going.
It does. Yeah. It just keeps coming. So wonderful. Well, I really feel like our audience really is going to enjoy this one, really getting to know you. And is there anything else you want to leave them with? Like what's something that just itching to get out, telling them it's burning in your soul?
I don't really know. That kind of puts me on the spot.
It sure does.
I mean, I'm just excited to be here. And I hope that I'm a part of your journey for a very long time. And it's a really exciting life. And it's just really important for people to open their hearts and know that life can be really, really good, and it's a really scary time right now. And just to remember to stay present and be grateful every single day, all day long, as much as you can. Obviously, there's things that happen, but to recognize that and bring yourself back to center and raising your vibration and your thoughts and how you feel is going to spread to everyone around you. And it's really important. And just to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. And now you all know why she's part of our team. This amazing soul that you all get to enjoy when you come into our center. So thank you for sharing all of that. Yeah. And being willing to come on and be vulnerable enough to share aspects of yourself. That's a great example and representation of why our stories can be so powerful and important to talk about. So yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so glad you're here. Well, thanks to our audience for tuning in and enjoying this great podcast with Jayleen today. You can catch her here at the center too if you want her in person. So, yes.
Come see me.
And remember, you can tap into our podcast anywhere where you typically like to watch your podcasts. We encourage you to follow us and like us on those platforms. It really helps us.
And TikTok now.
And now we're on TikTok. Yeah, we didn't even get to talk about that. Jayleen is taking the lead on our TikTok because I know nothing about TikTok. I'll just be honest.
I'm learning every single time I get on there.
And you're doing a fantastic job. So yes, now follow us on TikTok too. So, but we appreciate you tuning in. And remember, it's perfectly okay to stay salty.